party people, my name is Dr. Popular and welcome to the newest episode of PopCast, the original yo-yo vlog. In each episode of PopCast, I like to talk about a yo-yo trick or yo-yo concept, something that you can, something for everyone, hopefully. This particular episode is really exciting. I'm going to talk about three elements that you can add to just about any side style trick ever to add more flourish and just more style to those tricks. But before I do, I wanted to give a big shout out to Greg Knowles and all of my sponsors over on Patreon who help make these videos possible. If you're interested in sponsoring the show, which you should be, if you enjoyed this show, and if you're interested in learning how you can win free yo-yos, like these yo-yos from SF Yo-Yos, then stick around to the end of the episode or head over to patreon.com/docpop to learn more and help keep the show going. Cool. So in this particular episode, we are going to talk about Man on the Trapeze, which is extremely boring, right? Man on the Trapeze is a fundamental yo-yo trick. It's barely even a trick. It's more of a yo-yo mount. And that's actually the whole point. I think that when you are first getting into yo-yoing, you start to learn as many tricks as you can. And then afterwards, you start to really figure out how to add more flourishes and more style to your tricks. For instance, instead of doing the same bind every single time, you might learn a bunch of different binds. So then you have your trick and you have a different bind that you can go in and kind of break up all your tricks so they don't all look the same. In this particular episode, we are going to talk about 3 ways to get into Man in the Trapeze. 3 different Man in the Trapeze mounts going from easiest to hardest. And I guarantee you there's going to be something for every one of you. And hopefully something that you will just start adding into, something you'll use all the time. Something you'll throw in every now and then for the rest of your yo-yo life. So let's get into it with the under the wrist mount. Man on the Trapeze looks like this. If you're doing Eli hops or the Matrix, just about anything, you're going to end up on Man on the Trapeze. So what I want to talk about is 3 ways to do Man on the Trapeze to add more style. The first of those is under the wrist, and this is a real subtle flourish, but I think it's really nice, and it's particularly nice when you're kind of coming into a trapeze from another position, like you're coming from the brother in. So the way that this works is basically you're going to throw a breakaway. Your non-yo-yo hand, your free hand, is going to hook the string like that, and you are going to curl your hand inward, so you're pointing towards your waist, and the yo-yo travels between your hand and your body, and when you're done, you just point forward. Throw, hook, in. Point your finger forward. If you're done and you have a twist in your string, that means that you did something wrong here. So if you have a twist in your string, just figure it out. Just kind of figure out backwards what you might be doing wrong. So again, there's regular trapeze, and then there's under the wrist. As kind of a side note, a lot of people start off their side style combos by doing a move like this. I believe that's called the banana peel or the banana hook to go out. But you can actually use this under the wrist mount horizontally. And I think it's kind of a nice way to break up your horizontal tricks too if you do a lot of those. Now with trapezes in general, just a quick note that it's always easier to catch the trapeze close to your non-yo-yo hand. So if I try to do a trapeze and catch it kind of in the center of the string, it's pretty hard. But if I try to catch it really close to my left hand, and again, you can kind of see that kind of pulling, that makes it easier. So with this trick, it's going to be the same thing. Just kind of pull. So we've talked about under the wrist mount. Obviously, the next trick is going to be over the wrist mount. Over the wrist mount is kind of a Bendy style trick. And Bendy tricks, I always kind of consider tricks where you're kind of doing, I guess, any of this stuff, any of these weird arm twists. It's literally just a trapeze that's going to land on the back side of your wrist. And the way you do it is start with a breakaway. You're going to hook the string, not pinch, but hook like this. And once you're in that position, you turn your hand and you just catch. Now you're in a trapeze, just like that. But the way I like to get out of this is I like to do what's called a sun. And when you're doing a sun, you are going to do the subtle twist of the finger If you don't do that twist, you'll end up with a twist in your string. So again, hook, catch, and then do a sun out. And when you do that smooth, it looks like this. Now, as far as the over the wrist mount goes, I have a combo that I like to kind of throw in with it, and that is going to be catch, under. So that's over, you go under your hand, you pop off, you catch it, you do another sun, and then you catch it out. This isn't one of those 3 trapezes I was talking about, but also just kind of to play around with this bendy style. You can also do trapezes over here and catch it and do a sun just out. Now, that's a fun element to throw in. It's actually a little hard to catch right away, but hey, bam. Now that we've talked about under the wrist and over the wrist, we're going to talk about my personal favorite trapeze, which is the Magic Trapeze. It looks like this. The Magic Trapeze is a lot of fun for starting off combos. Again, just how stylish is that start? Bam. So the way you get into the Magic Trapeze, you throw a breakaway. You're going to go over your non-yo-yo hand. And you're going to cross your hand, mount like that. But here's the tricky part. While you're mounting, you are going to make a hoop with your right arm, with your yo-yo arm, and the yo-yo is going to mount and then go under. So I'm kind of doing this motion, except I'm starting it cross-armed. Bam. And this is a lot easier if you aim, when you're mounting, if you aim for right about here. You'll notice I kind of aim and the yo-yo slides. Now, a lot of people, when they're learning the Magic Trapeze, they do the mistake of trying to break it down too fast, trying to mount and then like crossing their arms. I always see this kind of quick motion when people do it. And you really want to just take your time, do it real slow, and make sure that yo-yo goes between. So you're going to curl your arm in. You can see that hoop opening up. A side note on the Magic Trapeze, kind of similar to what I was saying with the other tricks, you can also do the Magic Trapeze sideways, although it is kind of scary hard. I like to shorten the string when I do it. You can do it with a nice long string. So a quick recap of all the tricks we covered. There's the under the wrist mount. There is the over the wrist mount. There is the Magic Trapeze. There's also the over the Throwhand mount, I guess. And then there's all of those side style combinations that you can do to also mount a trapeze if you wanted. I hope you love those trapeze mounts. I want to see what you end up doing with them, so please share on Instagram. Use hashtag PopCastYoyo, PopCastYoyo. Don't forget the yo-yo, so that I can see what you're doing and how you're tweaking these tricks and making them your own, which is, of course, the whole point of these flourishes, is to just add more style to your routine. And remember, I said that you can help sponsor this show. You can help support PopCast episodes by going to patreon.com/DOCPOP. And if you sponsor the show, not only do you get 10% off of yo-yos from drpopular.com, you also get entered into monthly yo-yo giveaways. Last month, I gave away these 2 yo-yos from SF. This is an SF Cadence and an SF Prototype doorknob. This is a prototype, really rare, special, weird yo-yo. So these were free giveaways for my Patreon backers. If you sign up, there's actually a really good chance you'll win next month's yo-yo, which I have one prototype V2 from One Drop. This is an early prototype of the V2, pretty different than the final run. Only one of my backers is going to get it. So go over to patreon.com/DocPop to sponsor the show and maybe win a yo-yo. And just in terms of stuff I'm working on, I am working on yo-yo string, which you might have seen in this episode. I have it down to 2 prototypes that I kind of like. I'm trying to pick out my final one. Also trying to come up with a name for the string. I'm thinking string beans, because I like the idea that, you know, you put on a new piece of string and ideas grow from there. It really blossoms, plants the seeds for new ideas. It's tasty when... Also doing another run of executive yo-yos, the pocket-sized yo-yos, one of my favorite pocket-sized yo-yos ever made. These are going to be special colors. I am doing the Saturday Night Market colorway, which One Drop uses for Walters and a couple of the others. And I'm also doing an exclusive new Dr. Popular colorway. These are both going to be kind of marble swirl yo-yos. And then after that, I'm thinking about doing like a Delrin yo-yo. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next episode.